Happy new week, my friends. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late in case you're paying attention. Had some technical difficulties. So I was wondering what to talk about today, and I pulled this card. Now, this is called a Hamsa. It is an amulet that a lot of people wear for protection, or at least this shape is made into an amulet people wear for protection. It is a card it's a little like the Joker in a regular deck of cards. You can ascribe whatever meaning to it you like. On one hand, on the other hand, you see it's a hand. You see there's a little eye in there, and it one of the meanings is that it is to ward off the evil eye. It is a protective symbol. Can I do that? Can I do the symbol kind of with my hand? No, no, there, kind of, kind of. Anyway, protective. We also aren't sure if it originated with the Jews, and particularly this comes out of a Sephardic tradition of Judaism, because it goes way back. It's also something you find in Islam. It's something that you see in caves in Egypt, I believe. So we don't know. It's mysterious, isn't it? And so I think it's great that in the Kabbalah deck, it is whatever you need it to be. So if you, for instance, you pull a card or you're spelling out a word and you need a letter, it can be whatever letter you want, for instance. So that begs the question, what is it you need? What do you need right now? What do you need today? Are you in need of some kind of protection? What is it you need to feel safe? Perhaps to feel safe, to have a difficult conversation. That's coming up for a lot of us. I was wondering what card I would pick today. I was sending energy out to the ancestors, and one ancestor, well, she's not a blood ancestor to my knowledge, but a woman who had a profound influence on me through my life, a lady named Anna Warren. Actually, Anna Minot was her professional name. She was a journeyman actress to whom I was a personal assistant for about 30 years. And she was my theater mother. She was my other mother. And it was her yahrzeit yesterday. Yahrzeit is the anniversary of a person's death according to the Hebrew calendar. So she had her, it just went out now. I couldn't find yahrzeit candles, so I just used one of these novena candles, which go for like 50 hours instead of 24. And the great thing about it, too, is I think we associate that with Catholicism, and Anna herself was a lapsed Catholic. So it was all rather perfect. The novena candle on her yahrzeit. So I was wondering, Anna, give me a card. So this is what she picked. Hamsa, what do you need right now? So I'm going to encourage you to just close your eyes for a moment. And just take a few deep breaths. Relax your face. Let go of any tension in your body. And now I want you to feel into your body and see what it is saying. What is your body telling you it needs? Mine's telling me it's kind of thirsty. That's one thing. Now I encourage you to slowly open your eyes. And if you're watching this now, you can type into the chat. There is a chat window here if you're watching live, and what came to you. Just let me know what came to you as you sat with your eyes closed, breathing for a moment, in terms of what it is you need. If you watch this later and you do that tiny little mini meditation, feel free to either IM me or put in the comments what need arose for you. I feel like I want to speak a little more about protection and conversation. There was an incident yesterday in my household where my husband admitted that there were neighborhoods as a Lyft driver that he avoided, that he was afraid to go to. He's a white man, and that he feels particularly afraid to go to those neighborhoods now. And my son was very disappointed to hear that. And in his inimitable teenage way, he said to me, "Could you please explain to that person you married why what they feel is ignorant?" To which I tried to explain to him, and I think I had more success today, the morning after. I explained that you cannot make someone wrong for how they feel. All you can do is make it safe so that they are open to talking about it, to identifying what that fear is about. What could mitigate that fear? I think presence would mitigate that fear, for one thing. For instance, if you're in a situation that is triggering, really looking at it. If you're with somebody or you meet a stranger who happens to trigger something and you feel afraid, allowing yourself to really be present with that person and see them. Not deny, for instance, their color if they're black, but see them as that's part of who they are. But what else about them? Energetically, are they a threat? Are they someone you can connect to? We can't talk honestly about our feelings and about our fragility as white people or any of that if we are not, well, sometimes we're going to have the courage to share our honest feelings, whether it's safe or not, and that is going to take courage. But I think it helps, and I think there's a space now for a conversation that didn't exist before to talk about those fears and to be human with each other. So I think my son heard that. I think he did. Yeah. I'm not sure what else to talk about in regard to that matter, because we are just now beginning to have real conversations. I found the phrase white fragility so triggering when I first heard it. And it was shaming. I actually found it shaming. And shame is never a good place to start a conversation from. Shame breeds defensiveness. Now, as a woman, there are neighborhoods I'm afraid to walk into, but I can say it's because I'm a woman. That's a little better. This is such deep conditioning. This goes back such a long time. Our inability to see each other just as humans, and that means seeing each other, not denying the color of a person's skin, but seeing that as only a facet of who they are as a full human being. I remember a couple of occasions in my life that would have been wonderful opportunities, wonderful teaching opportunities. One, I don't remember what happened, but I think I was playing in the backyard and I suddenly noticed the kid I was playing with had very dark skin. And I think I said to the babysitter or whoever it was who was there, I pulled my look at look at her arm. Her arm is so much darker than mine. And apparently this flustered the babysitter a great deal. And she didn't know how to manage it and handle it or speak to it or whatever. My mother made a point of telling me that story years later. There was another moment when I was probably about 8 years old and I was in a little after school theater company. And it was at a public library. And I really wanted to be Cinderella, but I didn't get that part. The part to, I think, the credit of the woman running this little theater group was given to a black girl. And this, my head exploded. Could not make any sense of this at all. And fighting for the part, I said, Cinderella can't be black. I mean, who knew about, quote, non-traditional casting back then, let alone at age 8, back in, the early 60s. Now, this was a wonderful opportunity for this teacher. First of all, I wonder what impression it made on the girl who got the part, hearing some other little girl saying, you can't be that because you're black. But the fact is, and it would have been a moment for the teacher to say, why can't she? Why can't Cinderella be black? That would have been such a wonderful opening for such a wonderful conversation and such change. But instead, I got shut down. The teacher told me, we don't say things like that here. I felt so ashamed. I don't remember the rest of the class, and I never went back again. And I think what I took away was, you're not supposed to talk about that stuff. You have to be very careful around what you say about black people. You have to be very careful. And I think it was an incomplete message. It's not about being very careful about what you say to black people. It is the authenticity with which you experience black people as fellow people that was not conveyed to me well. So my son cited an interesting incident that I had no idea had happened. And he went to a very diverse elementary school here in Brooklyn. He told me that they had been taught, it was probably in kindergarten or something, that if they ever get lost, to look for a white woman, preferably a white woman with children, so that that person could help them find their mom again or their dad again, and could get them to safety. And he wondered aloud to me, and he'd never told me about this before, but he wondered aloud to me. He had told me in the past about them saying, find a woman. But today he brought up the fact that they had said specifically a white woman. Why? Why not? I get, and this is sad too, that it has to be a woman. But what about just a person? A person with children, preferably, is probably a safe person. So I know that the lesson was well intended, but it was filtered through the teacher's fear and conditioning. But isn't it wonderful we can talk about this stuff? I'm so excited to be able to talk about this stuff now without feeling shame, and at least a lot less defensiveness than I used to. A lot less need for Hamas or self-protection. I don't think, I'm not afraid of getting the evil eye. for talking about these things. This went in a direction I didn't expect it to go today, but I'm glad it did. And I'm going to stop the share now. I wish all of you strength and courage as we move forward into this very new time of transformation that has been very long in coming. I think the pendulum's starting to swing back, people. I have a good feeling. And meanwhile, take time to listen to yourself every day and what it is you need in order to shore up your strength and courage and move forward in your life. I'll be back here again on Thursday. And until then, take care. Bye-bye.